to Warrior Supercast on Waycross Community Media. This is the podcast that keeps you connected to everything that's going on in the Winton Woods School District. And today we have in our studio the new Community and Public Engagement Coordinator, Drew Jackson. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You are new in this position, but you're not new to the district.
I am not.
So tell us a little bit about how you became this coordinator and your experiences with the district.
Yes, so I joined the Winton Woods team in 2017 as the publicity writer, photographer, and videographer. My predecessor was amazing, as most people know. So I think I was very fortunate to be her team member. So I was around her a lot. I saw a lot of what she did. I saw how she engaged the community. I saw the information she pushed out. A lot of it I would edit. So being able to work with her and be with her for that amount of time has truly helped me so much. And she truly has set me up for success. So
it's nice to know sometimes when you see someone new in a position, you think, well, do they know anything about the district? Are they connected? You have already been doing this for the last several years.
Yes.
What in those years have you really loved about you get to promote the most exciting things about the district and let the community know.
I know.
So what are some of the favorite things you've been able to do that with?
Yes, no, I have a great job. I get to do a lot of great things and showcase and learn about a lot of the things that are happening in the district. So I feel like every time I go into the building and I speak with the students and I get to know them, I'm like, this is why I do this. Like, they are amazing. And I'm learning new things every single day, things about the students, whether it's their experiences or they can speak several languages. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
I have met so many really impressive students at Winton Woods, and that is always my favorite thing when I get to interview the students and the teachers who are working with them every single day.
Yes.
And actually, this is probably a good time to mention, you just in the studio got to talk to one of the just finished her junior year rising seniors.
Yes.
And let's take a minute to take a listen to that, because I feel like it's a great chance to see one of these fantastic students that we're talking about.
Hi, my name is Drew Jackson, and I'm here with rising senior Tia Griggs. Some of her recent accomplishments include performing with the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra. She recited The Hill Climb by Amanda Gorman while the symphony performed an inspiring arrangement of America the Beautiful. Seeing how peers responded to the stress of school, life, and post-COVID, Tia did research to find solutions that could help by creating a presentation about yoga and insomnia and presented it to her peers in hopes of helping. She wrote a grant to John Carroll University that was accepted, and with those funds, purchased yoga mats, t-shirts, and other items. In her free time, Tia is teaching herself how to play the piano. Everyone welcome Tia Griggs.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming in. I know school ended on Friday.
Yes,
and
Friday.
Now you're here, so I really do appreciate you joining us.
Of course.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Like you said, like school's over now, and I'm ready for that next step and that next journey, sort of, kind of, yeah.
No, that is awesome. Today, I look forward to learning more about you and your experience with project-based learning. So I guess first I'll start off with, I feel like you're someone who pursues and executes projects and things that you're interested in. Can you share some of your interests or extracurriculars that you're involved in at Winton Woods High School?
Yes, I am personally really an advocate for culture in our school. So most of my projects are related to local topics and issues. Like, I was really interested in just how people like you are, like, interact with PBL. I was also part of, like, creating that in a sense of the little team buildings. So I'm really passionate about just the culture of our school. So one of my projects, consisted of really just surveying the students here just for like a sleep survey. And that's just for a chemistry project that we were looking at about how melatonin kind of affects our circadian rhythms and things like that. So I really just do care about like the health and well-being of our culture in our school. So that's one of my hobbies, I guess you can call it.
No, that is awesome. I feel like you're a part of the organization Crush.
Yes, I am.
Yes. So that kind of like feeds into your passion and relates to like health
It
and
it does. It allowed me to have a focus in where I kind of consider helping in that way. Like Crush allowed me to really just focus on the health, like I said, of the local community. And I mean, it was an actual hands-on experience. It wasn't just research. It wasn't just like writing an essay or something. It really did allow me to use yoga mats and use affirmation cards and really just put my idea in a physical sense where I could see it, touch it, and, show other people.
that's awesome. Is that something that you'd like to pursue after high school, or do you know what you want to do career-wise or post high school?
Yes, of course. I definitely want to go into the healthcare industry and advocating for that. But my direct focus is pharmaceuticals. But in that, I do want to advocate for, people of mental health having drugs and medicines that they can afford. I think that's a really big issue that I would like to tackle in the future.
That's really cool. So, speaking of things that you want to pursue, I know right now attending Winton Woods High School, project-based learning is a huge part of your academic experience. Can you speak a little bit into how long you've been doing project-based learning and how your experience has been with it?
Yes, of course. So, project-based learning, I've started, I think, in fifth grade, if I can remember, fifth or sixth grade, but I really got into it in middle school. It kind of started with, we're just working in groups. I get to work with my best friends and, have a good time with some projects that I can actually like touch and feel. But in high school, it turned into what am I passionate about? I mean, there was my freshman year, I did a project using like e-maze, which was really different. And I mean, I added music, added photos. It was like a virtual museum that I was able to create. So project-based learning started in fifth grade, but it kind of like adapted as I went throughout my schooling. Yeah.
How do you feel like that has helped you outside of school? So I know that you do a lot and relates to like health and like serving the community. Do you feel like project-based learning helped you pursue things on your own or think about how to engage with the community or help others?
Yes, project-based learning really did, cater to my speaking abilities and public speaking because we do a lot of presenting in project-based learning, and I never would have thought I could be, on the stage of, music hall and doing a whole poem in front of a whole bunch of people. I think without project-based learning, I wouldn't have had that confidence to use my projection and my words of choice. So I think project-based learning did cater to my public speaking a lot, and that helps me in the real world.
So what are some skills that you feel like you've learned from project-based learning that will help you outside of high school? So I feel like a lot of project-based learning is problem solving, working in groups, critical thinking, and at least I know I've heard at times people when we're in class, we're like, how are we going to use this later in life? So I know that you all learn a lot of 21st century skills. Do you use those outside of the classroom?
Of course. I mean, it is incredible of how much technology usage we have access to, like you said, like critical thinking. A lot of the questions that we get asked are, questions that I don't even think like schools kind of focus on. I mean, they want to know our opinions about, how we feel about what's happening in the world. And on the technology basis, I mean, we use software that I feel like not other schools might have access to unless they, did that on the side themselves. So honestly, PBL does allow us to access critical thinking and also different types of technology and different softwares. So, yeah.
That's really cool. So I know at the beginning of a project, they ask you questions, driving questions that you have to solve. And there is no right answer necessarily, but they want you to imagine and explore and do the research and find answers on your own. Can you kind of speak into that and how that looks for you or your group? Because I'm sure everyone has different opinions and perspectives on how they see the question?
Yes. So when we first start a project, we have what's called a project rollout, and that's when they ask a driving question, and we sort of kind of set up our roles and stuff, and we look through a rubric and an entry doc, and that kind of just lays out the project for us. And to that, yes, so driving question and preparing for a project, we do have to look at what we have to observe what we're going to be researching about. So a lot of the first part of the project is, coming up with a question and finding a solution to it, an actual solution, and turning that into a way that people can physically use. So.
Do you feel like you're more prepared now that you've been a part of this part of project-based learning compared to traditional learning?
Yes, I do, because like I previously stated, it's like a whole different way of seeing school and seeing your potential. I mean, it started out in 5th grade where we were just, like I said, hanging out with friends, and then oh, we're working in groups, that's fine. But as time went on, it really changed into something that I'm personally am passionate about, because without project-based learning, I don't think my communication, my public speaking skills, my analytical skills, and critical thinking could have been developed, because we have the technology, we have the teachers, we have the areas in the school building that really do allow us to access, all of those things that can help us in tomorrow's life. There's so many things that, I never thought I could talk to adults, regularly, but in the group of Crush and HPAC, Russia, Edwards, and Sierra, our supervisors in that group, they work from a completely different, they did not work inside the school. And those are some of the closest people I know today. So it really just does put a real spin on life. So I'm grateful for it.
That is great. Or do you have any favorite projects that you can possibly mention? I know that a lot that you all do are world issues. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that has stayed with you or that has impacted you in a way that?
Yes, I'll have to say 2, because we do so many. It would definitely have to be the project I did my freshman year. The virtual museum touched my heart, because it was I was literally creating but also reliving, a point of history of World War II. And that in itself was very touching to see, oh my goodness, history is real. And then the Me Too movement, I did a project on that recently this year in my government class, to really just talk about how propaganda works and how campaigning and all that stuff works within our government. So that project was also very interesting, because I, in that moment, felt like these people's voices need to be heard. It's such a realistic view. It's not an essay. It's not a research paper. It is hands-on. And those are the 2 projects of the Me Too movement, and the E-Maze project is really the ones that stuck out for me.
Mm-hmm. So you are a senior, a rising senior. Yes. So is there any advice that you would share with incoming freshmen, or something that that you think would be helpful for students that are entering high school or in high school that?
Yes, I would say it's crazy that I'm already at this point, but I would say that, don't take it for granted. We have so many areas in the music department, in the athletic department, in the academics category. Take advantage of all of those opportunities, because it's once in a lifetime, and it's only here really that you can get those experiences. So really, take advantage of those things.
Tia, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate you being here. You're an amazing student in person, so thank you.
I really appreciate you taking time to talk with Tia, because that was fantastic. I am so impressed with everything that she talked about in her experiences at Winton Woods. You mentioned project-based learning, and Tia was so eloquent talking about how that was helpful for her, and the segue into so many things that she got to do later. So that's exciting, because we hear PBL, which sounds like a sandwich, And no, it's project-based learning, and it's an exciting thing that's it's just integrated right into the way Winton Woods teaches. So that was fantastic. There are loads of programs in the Winton Woods School District, and some of them were mentioned in that last conversation with Tia. Where can parents go if they just listened to that and said, okay, I need to connect my student to some of these programs because look at this amazing student and this is inspiring to me. Where can they go to find information about what kind of programs the district has?
Yes, so our district website is a good resource, whether it's for press releases or social media. We have Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I think a lot of what students do, we showcase through there. So whether they're having events or there's a concert or something about extracurriculars or things that students are doing outside of the classroom, parents can learn there.
And I'll say that the Facebook page has been very informative. Anything exciting that's happened, any kind of events that are coming, I find it on there. Of course, the web page has the calendar. And I'll just mention, if you're in the community, if you are in the Winton Woods towns and you don't have a student in the school, still keep an eye on their calendar because those concerts are fantastic parts of bringing the arts into the community. The sporting events, unless you're watching them on Waycross, of course, which we also encourage. But otherwise, those are exciting things happening right in our community. And those are the kids that are in your neighborhood that you're watching perform or play sports. And the other aspect of that occurs to me is if you have little kids in the district, go watch the amazing things that the high school music department is putting out and that the sporting events. It's hard for a little kid to see who's playing hot cross buns on their recorder repeatedly to the loss of much of our sleep. That it's hard for them to see what they're aiming for unless they get to see the next level and see that example. And Winton Woods really takes that opportunity to let the older students who are succeeding encourage the younger students. And you actually just did that right before graduation, didn't you?
Yes.
How did that happen? What was that like?
So being able to work with
encourage. I think I saw seniors in their graduation
the
gowns,
graduate
right
warrior
in
rally.
the schools with the little kids,
yes.
and they could say, "That's where I'm headed. That's
Yes.
my goal."
No, I think that is an amazing event that we do every year, allowing the We Warriors to see where they will be one day. That is the goal, to ensure every student reaches their highest potential.
They see it. No one is more of a superstar to the little grades than seniors. The seniors are the celebrities.
Yes.
So to see them succeed and get to say, I could be one of them, is just one of the many ways that I watch the district support all the different age levels and not just put all their focus on, it's exciting to focus on the high school kids because that's where we're starting to really see the success that's been built into them from the really early days. But that success comes from working with them from the very little age all the way up.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you want to make sure parents know about going into the summer? We finished the school year.
Yes. Congratulations, seniors.
Yes, class of 2022.
Yes.
Yay. Congratulations, teachers who lived through it and parents who are ready to get started in their summer. Yes. Is there anything that parents should know looking into the summer?
So summer school starts June 6th and following our new Facebook page.
Okay. Yes, keep an eye on the current Facebook page. We have that link right at the bottom of the screen. Make sure you're following it because that's how you'll keep up to date. Make sure you don't miss registration dates. And and then I assume we'll be looking forward to kindergarten registration and all that kind of stuff. It's not too soon to think about the fall, right?
Yes.
Yay!
Correct. Right.
Don't stop thinking about school yet. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for bringing us that conversation with Tia because I really loved having the chance to listen to that.
Well, thank you, Dana.
I also want to thank you for watching the Warrior Supercast because that means you are making sure that you're informed about the things that are happening in the Winton Woods School District, and we will see you next time.